long before the jungle reclaimed its stone stairways, and long before explorers cut paths through the humid forests of Chiapas. The city of Palenque rose like a vision carved from limestone and belief. White temples gleamed against emerald hills. Water flowed through engineered channels, murmuring beneath plazas where incense once burned and kings once spoke with the voices of gods. At the heart of this city, and at the heart of its memory, stood one man whose life unfolded across nearly 7 decades of power, ritual, endurance, and transformation. His name was Kinich Jana Pakal, known to history as Pakal the Great. The story of Pakal the Great is not merely the biography of a ruler. It is the story of how a fragile city survived annihilation, how sacred kingship was rebuilt from ruin, and how stone, myth, and memory were fused into one of the most enduring legacies of the ancient Americas. His reign stretched across almost the entirety of the 7th century, an era when the Maya world was both flourishing and fracturing, defined by rival kingdoms, divine warfare, and monumental ambition. Through this volatile landscape, Pakal ruled longer than nearly any monarch before or since, his life spanning childhood vulnerability, mature authority, and old age sanctified by divinity. Palenque, known in ancient texts as La Cama, Big Water, was never the largest Maya city, nor the most militarily dominant. It did not command the vast territories of Tikal or the intimidating reach of Calakmul. Yet under Pakal, Palenque became something arguably more lasting. A cultural and ideological beacon, its art achieved a refinement unmatched in the Maya world. Its inscriptions became some of the longest and most detailed ever carved. Its architecture did not simply dominate space. It told stories of lineage, cosmology, and the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. Pakal was born into a world already trembling. The Maya lowlands of the early 7th century were locked in cycles of conflict, alliance, and ritual warfare. Kings were not merely administrators or generals. They were living conduits between worlds. Their blood nourished the gods. Their deaths shaped cosmic balance. To rule was not simply to govern. It was to embody the universe itself. In this world, failure was catastrophic. A fallen king could mean the collapse of a dynasty, the abandonment of a city, or the erasure of a people's place in sacred time. When Pakal was born in 603 CE, Palenque was wounded. Enemy forces had attacked the city, destabilizing its ruling house and threatening its survival. The old order was fractured, and the line of succession was fragile. That Pakal would eventually reign for 68 years, one of the longest reigns in recorded human history, was inconceivable at the moment of his birth. His childhood unfolded in the shadow of crisis, where survival itself was uncertain. Yet destiny, in the Maya worldview, was not random. Time was alive, cyclical, and patterned. Every birth was anchored to sacred calendars that revealed potential, danger, and divine favor. Pakal's name itself invoked light and regeneration. Kinich tied him to the sun, the eternal traveler of the sky. Jana Pakal evoked shields and flowering, protection and renewal. From the moment his name was spoken, he was framed as more than a boy. He was an axis around which the future could turn. At just 12 years old, Pakal ascended the throne. In most civilizations, such a coronation would have been symbolic, power held by regents until the child matured. In the Maya world, however, kingship was absolute and immediate. Even as a child, Pakal was the living embodiment of divine order. His blood carried ancestral authority. His presence stabilized the cosmos. The responsibility placed upon him was immense, and the danger constant. What followed was not the short, tragic reign of a boy king, swallowed by stronger rivals. Instead, Pakal endured. Year by year, ritual by ritual, building by building, he reshaped Palenque. He did so not through relentless conquest, but through architecture, symbolism, and narrative control. Pakal understood that power was as much about memory as it was about force. Stone could outlast armies. Words carved into temples could speak centuries after the last spear was broken. As Pakal matured, so did his vision. He ruled through decades of political maneuvering, ritual performance, and artistic patronage. He oversaw the expansion of the palace complex, transforming it into a labyrinth of courtyards, galleries, and towers. He commissioned temples not merely as places of worship, but as statements of cosmic legitimacy. Every stairway, every panel of hieroglyphs, every sculpted face reinforced the idea that Palenque was not merely a city. It was a sacred center anchored by its king. Yet Pakal's most audacious act was one that would not be seen in his lifetime. He planned his death with the same precision as his reign. Deep beneath the temple of the inscriptions, he ordered the carving of a tomb unlike any other in the Maya world. It was not hidden in anonymity. It was not modest. It was monumental, symbolic, and sealed within a man-made mountain. This tomb would ensure that Pakal's passage into the underworld mirrored the journey of the gods themselves. When Pakal died in 683 CE, he was around 80 years old, an extraordinary age for the ancient world. His body was prepared with ritual care, covered in red cinnabar, adorned with jade, and laid within a massive stone sarcophagus. Upon his face was placed a mosaic mask, youthful and serene, transforming the aged king into an eternal embodiment of the maize god. Death did not diminish Pakal. It completed him. Above his body, the temple rose. Above the temple, the jungle eventually grew. For centuries, Pakal slept beneath stone and roots, his name preserved in glyphs unreadable to the modern world. Then, in the mid-20th century, his tomb was rediscovered, and the king emerged once more into human awareness. His sarcophagus lid, carved with one of the most intricate images in Mesoamerican art, ignited fascination, confusion, and myth. Some saw a king falling into the underworld. Others, misunderstanding its symbolism, imagined impossible machines and alien visitors. Yet the truth, rooted in Maya cosmology, was far richer than fantasy. This is the story that follows: the life of a child crowned amid chaos, the reign of a king who turned survival into splendor, and the legacy of a man who ensured that even in death, he would speak. Pakal the Great was not merely buried beneath a temple. He became the temple. His life, his city, and his afterlife fused into one enduring monument, stone shaped by belief, memory shaped by power, and history shaped by a single extraordinary reign. In the story ahead, the narrative descends into that world, into the politics of the classic Maya, the rituals of sacred kingship, the silence of sealed tombs, and the long echo of a name carved into limestone. Pakal's story is not only the story of Palenque, it is the tale of how human beings, faced with time and mortality, choose to endure. The earliest years of Kinish Janab Pakal's life unfolded beneath the dense canopy of the Chiapas highlands, a landscape of winding rivers, jagged limestone ridges, and the constant hum of the jungle. Palenque, though modest in comparison to the great city-states of Tikal or Calakmul, possessed a quiet grandeur. Low-lying plazas framed by limestone terraces, canals and aqueducts guiding water from distant hills, and temple platforms that seemed to rise naturally from the forest floor. yet the city's elegance belied fragility. Political instability had left the ruling house of Palenque vulnerable, and raids from neighboring polities had recently shaken the city's foundations. Pakal was born in 603 CE, the son of Lady Sakuk, a queen in her own right, and Khan Mo Hicks, a noble whose precise role remains uncertain in surviving records. His childhood was intertwined with the looming shadow of responsibility. Even as a young boy, he was aware that survival depended not only on personal skill, but on the careful management of alliances, ritual, and perception. In the court of Palenque, every gesture, every word, every display of skill or piety carried consequence. The boy prince grew up in a world where the natural and supernatural were inseparable. Each eclipse, flood, or drought was a message from the gods. Each sacrificial ritual a mechanism to keep the city alive. By the time he was 12, catastrophe had reshaped the dynastic landscape. The reigning king, Arjan Yolmad, had died, as had his immediate heir, leaving a precarious vacuum. Lady Sakuk acted quickly, placing her son on the throne in 615 CE. To the untrained eye, Pakal was simply a boy. To the citizens and priests of Palenque, he was a living embodiment of the divine. Coronation was more than ceremony. It was an invocation of cosmic order. Even a child on the throne represented the axis between heaven, earth, and the underworld. His youth, however, did not diminish the enormous responsibilities thrust upon him. The early years of his reign were a delicate dance. Pakal could not yet command armies, and he relied on trusted advisors to negotiate with rival city-states. At the same time, his presence had to convince the populace of continuity and strength. The temples of Palenque, already modestly adorned, became arenas for asserting legitimacy. Early inscriptions, still surviving in fragmentary form, recorded ceremonies in which Pakal participated as a symbol of life and renewal. Even at 12, he was presented wearing the regalia of a king, elaborate headdresses, jade ornaments, and intricately designed clothing that transformed him visually into a figure both human and divine. These visual cues were critical in a society where kingship was as much about appearance and ritual as it was about action. Pakal's childhood was marked not only by political necessity, but also by education in the sacred and the martial. Priests and elders instructed him in the complex hieroglyphic script, teaching him the lineage of Palenque's rulers, the stories of gods and ancestors, and the intricate cycles of the Maya calendar. Simultaneously, he learned strategy and diplomacy, skills essential for a kingdom surrounded by rivals both ambitious and aggressive. Physical training accompanied spiritual and intellectual education. Young Pakal was taught archery, the use of spears, and ceremonial combat, though his primary battlefield would be the realm of ritual and political maneuvering rather than open warfare. Despite the weight of expectation, the boy king exhibited a precocious understanding of rulership. Inscriptions suggest that within a decade, he had begun commissioning public works, including modifications to the palace complex and smaller temples throughout the city. Even before his 20s, he understood the power of architecture as a statement of legitimacy. The arrangement of plazas, the orientation of buildings to the rising sun, and the height and grandeur of platforms all communicated divine favor and earthly authority. These early constructions set the stage for the monumental projects that would define his reign and transform Palenque into a major cultural center. Pakal's youth also coincided with broader shifts in the Maya world. City-states in the region were increasingly interconnected through trade, marriage alliances, and warfare. Palenque's location offered access to vital resources: obsidian from nearby highlands, cacao from the lowlands, and salt and other essentials. But it also made the city a target. Pakal's early rule, therefore, required not only internal consolidation, but careful negotiation with neighbors. Records suggest that treaties and marital alliances were established during this formative period, strengthening Palenque's position without requiring constant conflict. By the time Pakal reached young adulthood, he had already survived the precarious years of a child ruler in a world of relentless politics. The early lessons of vigilance, piety, and strategic thinking would inform the decisions that carried him through a remarkably long and influential reign. These formative experiences instilled in him a sense of responsibility to both the city and the cosmos, a dual mandate that would shape every subsequent action, from the construction of palaces and temples to the orchestration of his own funerary arrangements. Pakal's early years were thus a crucible, the convergence of divine expectation, human politics, and personal development. He emerged not as a passive figurehead, but as a ruler capable of vision, foresight, and enduring authority. Even in these early decades, one can glimpse the contours of a leadership style that combines strategic acumen, ceremonial mastery, and a profound understanding of how memory and monument could outlast life itself. As the boy king grew, the city began to change under his influence. Courtyards were expanded, ceremonial spaces embellished, and smaller temples erected to honor gods and ancestors. These early projects may have seemed modest at the time, but they reflected Pakal's understanding of Palenque's potential. He was not content merely to survive. He sought to elevate his city into a beacon of culture, spirituality, and political power. It was a vision that would unfold over decades, culminating in the greatest architectural achievement of his reign, the Temple of the Inscriptions, and a dynastic legacy that would endure long after his death. The story of Pakal's childhood and early rule is thus inseparable from the story of Palenque itself, a fragile city that rose under the stewardship of a boy who understood that kingship was as much about shaping perception as it was about wielding power, and that survival required both cunning and faith. In these years, the foundations of a monumental reign were laid, not only in stone and stucco, but in the rituals, alliances, and strategies that would guide Pakal the Great for the next 68 years. As Pakal stepped fully into adulthood, the city of Palenque began to reveal the scope of his vision. By the age of 20, he was no longer merely a boy crowned with ceremonial robes. He was a ruler whose decisions shaped every corner of the city, every ritual, and every relationship with neighboring polities. The early crises of his reign, childhood vulnerability, threatened borders, and the shadow of death, had forged in him an acute understanding of both human ambition and divine expectation. One of Pakal's first achievements as a young king was the careful expansion of the palace complex. The palace, already an impressive multi-courtyard structure, was transformed under his guidance into a labyrinthine center of administration, ceremony, and royal life. Towers, terraces, and galleries were added, blending functionality with the grandeur expected of Maya royalty. The complex became a stage for the performance of kingship. From the upper terraces, the king could address the city, observe the movement of the sun, or participate in celestial rituals. Every new addition, every carved balustrade, and every painted panel carried a message. Palenque's king was not only powerful, he was in harmony with the cosmos. Pakal's architectural vision extended beyond mere utility. He understood that buildings could be instruments of memory, vessels for ideology. Temples and platforms were aligned carefully to celestial events, with plazas designed to frame the rising sun on specific days of ritual significance. The orientation of new structures often coincided with the solstices or the zenith passages of Venus, demonstrating the king's awareness of astronomy and his ability to embed divine order into urban space. Through architecture, Pakal communicated that Palenque was a city favored by the gods, and that its ruler was their earthly representative. The young king also invested in the city's artistic and sculptural culture. Elaborate stucco panels and carved stone stelae were commissioned to depict gods, ancestors, and Pakal himself in ceremonial contexts. These images were not simple decoration. They were visual narratives reinforcing his legitimacy, lineage, and role as intermediary between the divine and the mortal world. In many of these depictions, the king was shown with attributes of the maize god, highlighting a connection to fertility, renewal, and the cycles of life and death. Through such imagery, Pakal merged personal legacy with cosmic significance, ensuring that his rule would be remembered as both a political and spiritual triumph. Despite the grandeur of these projects, Pakal's reign was not merely a matter of art and architecture. He was also a skilled diplomat, adept at navigating the complex web of alliances and rivalries that defined the Maya world. Palenque, strategically located but surrounded by powerful neighbors, required careful negotiation to survive. Pakal's marriage to Lady Zakbu Ajo, a princess from a neighboring polity, strengthened political ties and produced heirs to secure the dynastic line. Treaties and ceremonial exchanges were as crucial as military action, and the young king demonstrated remarkable prudence in balancing these forces. By his 30s, Pakal's influence extended across the region. Palenque, once a minor city-state, had become a hub of culture and power. Neighboring rulers recognized the king's authority and sought alliances, and his reputation for wisdom and stability spread through inscriptions and oral tradition alike. The city itself was transformed. Plazas expanded, temples rose higher, and the palace became a centerpiece of governance, ritual, and artistic innovation. The rhythm of Palenque's life, festivals, ceremonies, and political gatherings, now followed a pattern established by Pakal, intertwining daily governance with sacred observance. It was during this period that Pakal began planning the project that would define his legacy, the Temple of the Inscriptions. Unlike other constructions, this temple was conceived as a monument, not only to divine and temporal power, but also to memory and eternity. He envisioned a structure that would rise above the city, yet contain within it a burial chamber so secure and symbolic that it would endure long after his death. The temple was designed with 9 step levels, each corresponding to the 9 layers of the Maya underworld, a symbolic ascent from life into the divine cycle. Within its walls, Pakal ensured, would be a record of his reign, inscribed in the intricate hieroglyphs that chronicled his achievements, lineage, and divine favor. While the Temple of the Inscriptions would take decades to complete, its conception during Pakal's young adulthood demonstrates his extraordinary foresight. He did not merely build for the present, he built for the distant future. In his mind, architecture was not temporary, it was eternal. Every stone set, every inscription carved, was intended to ensure that Palenque and its ruler would endure in the memory of the gods and the people alike. During these years, Pakal's personal life and public persona became deeply intertwined with the sacred. His body, even in youth, was adorned with ritual substances, and he participated in ceremonies that reinforced his role as the living intermediary between humans and the divine. Bloodletting rituals, offerings to the gods, and observances tied to the agricultural calendar were not mere duties. They were acts that maintained cosmic balance. The young king's life became a narrative, enacted daily before the eyes of his people, where the line between mortal action and divine mandate was almost imperceptible. By his 40s, Pakal had transformed Palenque into a city of unparalleled refinement. The palace, temples, plazas, and inscriptions collectively conveyed the power, wisdom, and divine favor of the king. His reputation extended beyond his city, earning him recognition among neighboring city-states. Even more remarkable, his long reign allowed him to guide the city through decades of potential instability, wars, and dynastic challenges. Where other rulers might have faltered or been swept aside by circumstance, Pakal endured, steadily shaping the political and cultural landscape of the Maya world. The transformation of Palenque under Pakal the Great was not merely architectural or political, it was deeply symbolic. Every building, every carved panel, every ritual performance conveyed a story of renewal, continuity, and divine sanction. The city became a living testament to the king's vision, a narrative rendered in stone, paint, and jade. Through these achievements, Pakal ensured that his rule would not be measured solely by the length of his life, but by the enduring presence of his ideals and his city's splendor. In these decades, Pakal also began to prepare for the ultimate expression of his power, his own mortuary monument. The planning of the Temple of the Inscriptions reflected not only concern for his own burial, but also an understanding of death as a form of narrative. He would enter the underworld, but the city above would remember him, and the inscriptions would proclaim his journey for generations. This deliberate intertwining of life, death, and memory would become the hallmark of his reign and the defining legacy of Palenque's transformation into a major cultural and political center. Pakal the Great had grown from a boy king into a master of vision and strategy, shaping his city and dynasty with a combination of intellect, artistry, and divine symbolism. The foundations of his enduring legacy were now firmly established, and Palenque stood as a testament to the ambition, foresight, and determination of a ruler who understood that history could be built as surely as stone. As the decades of Pakal the Great's reign unfolded, Palenque became more than a city. It became a symbol, a living testament to the unity of divine and human authority. By the middle of his life, Pakal had moved beyond the cautious governance of his youth. He now ruled with the certainty and vision that only decades of experience can bestow. A king who had survived court intrigue, political rivalries, and the delicate tensions of Maya diplomacy. His reign was marked not by transient victories or fleeting constructions, but by the creation of enduring structures and inscriptions that fused political authority with cosmic symbolism. The centerpiece of Pakal's vision was the Temple of the Inscriptions, a funerary monument of unprecedented ambition. Unlike previous palatial and religious constructions, this temple was conceived as both narrative and sanctuary. Rising in 9 stepped levels, the temple mirrored the 9 layers of the Maya underworld, a symbolic axis connecting Earth and cosmos. Each tier carried both architectural weight and spiritual significance, its limestone surfaces designed to reflect light and shadow during precise celestial events. The temple was more than stone. It was a chronicle, a manifesto in 3 dimensions. Construction of the temple required meticulous planning and extraordinary labor. Stonemasons, architects, and artisans worked under Pakal's supervision, shaping massive blocks of limestone into precise platforms and chambers. Courtyards were aligned with the rising sun on the solstices. Staircases were carved to symbolize ritual ascension, and hieroglyphic inscriptions were carefully arranged to narrate both lineage and divine favor. Every corner of the temple was imbued with meaning. It was simultaneously a tomb, a ceremonial stage, and a text, read not with eyes alone, but with participation in ritual and observation of celestial cycles. The inscriptions themselves reveal Pakal's deep understanding of memory and narrative. They document his ancestors, his achievements, and the mythic dimensions of kingship. The story of Pakal's ascent, his acts of piety, and his cosmic role are carved into stone for eternity. To the Maya, these inscriptions were not simply historical records. They were living conduits between worlds. By inscribing his reign into stone, Pakal ensured that even as life passed and kings fell, the story of Palenque and its ruler would remain. While architecture and inscriptions were central to his strategy of immortalization, Pakal also invested in the aesthetic refinement of the city. Sculptors created elaborate stelae and panels depicting gods, rulers, and ceremonial acts in meticulous detail. Artisans crafted jade, obsidian, and shell ornaments, adorning the royal court and reinforcing the king's divine connection. Even in his later years, Pakal oversaw these projects personally, ensuring that every sculpture and every mosaic adhered to his vision of harmony, ritual significance, and grandeur. Yet Pakal's rule was not solely ceremonial or artistic. He maintained Palenque's position within the shifting network of Maya city-states through careful diplomacy and strategic alliances. Marital ties, tribute exchanges, and ritualized warfare reinforced his authority while minimizing the risks of open conflict. Palenque's influence expanded as the city's reputation for culture, architecture, and stability grew. Visitors, ambassadors, and rival rulers recognized the sophistication of Pakal's court and the stability he brought to a region otherwise marked by frequent strife. The culmination of Pakal's monumental vision was not complete without attention to his own mortality. Unlike kings who merely built to honor their gods or their city, Pakal designed his tomb as a narrative journey. Deep within the Temple of the Inscriptions, he constructed a crypt that would house his body and its accoutrements, sealed beneath a massive carved sarcophagus lid. The tomb was adorned with symbols of life, death, and rebirth. The world tree, celestial imagery, and the depiction of Pakal descending into Xibalba, the Maya underworld. In death, as in life, he would remain central to the cosmic order, his presence a stabilizing axis between worlds. Pakal's personal ritual and preparation for death reflected his deep engagement with both the spiritual and symbolic dimensions of kingship. He ordered his body to be painted with cinnabar, a sacred red substance signifying life force and divine favor. Jade, obsidian, and pearl were placed upon him, culminating in the creation of the famous Jade Death Mask, designed to transform the aging king into an eternal maize god. This preparation underscored Pakal's belief that kingship was not merely temporal, but eternal. Death was not an end, but a continuation of sacred authority. During these years, Pakal's physical presence remained commanding. At approximately 5 feet 8 inches, his stature was impressive, and his ceremonial attire, elaborate headdresses, jade adornments, and flowing garments, enhanced his visual authority. Yet even as he aged, the king's influence derived not from intimidation alone, but from the careful cultivation of perception, ritual authority, and the symbolic weight of his constructions. Every act, from the inauguration of a new temple to the ceremonial observance of the solstice, reinforced his enduring role as mediator between the human and divine. As the Temple of the Inscriptions rose, so too did the city's reputation. Palenque became a model of architectural innovation, cultural sophistication, and ritual precision. Its plazas, towers, and temples conveyed a coherent vision of power, one that intertwined personal legacy with the cosmic order. Pakal's rule demonstrated that authority in the Maya world was as much about imagination, memory, and ritual as it was about armies or conquest. Through stone, sculpture, and ceremony, he made Palenque both a city and a narrative, a living, breathing testament to divine kingship. By the time Pakal entered his 6th decade, the city he had inherited as a fragile polity had become a regional powerhouse, admired for its artistry, architecture, and ceremonial sophistication. The foundations of Palenque's long-term influence were secure, and Pakal's name was firmly inscribed into both stone and memory. He had transcended the vulnerabilities of his youth, transforming them into enduring achievements that would outlast him by centuries. Pakal's reign, already remarkable for its length, became legendary for its depth of vision and coherence of purpose. Through careful planning, artistic patronage, architectural innovation, and spiritual leadership, he ensured that Palenque would endure as both a city and an idea, one shaped as much by narrative and symbolism as by stone and mortar. The Temple of the Inscriptions, rising above the city like a mountain of memory, embodied this synthesis. A king's vision, realized in sacred stone, bridging the human and divine, life and death, the ephemeral and the eternal. As Pakal the Great entered the twilight of his reign, Palenque had transformed into a city that mirrored the grandeur of its ruler's vision. The once fragile polity of his childhood had become a hub of artistry, architecture, and spiritual authority. Courtyards echoed with ceremonial chants, plazas reflected the movement of the sun across the sky, and temple stairways became pathways of both ritual and memory. Yet even in the fullness of his power, Pakal was acutely aware of the inevitability of mortality, a concept entwined with Maya cosmology, where kingship, like life itself, existed within an unbroken cycle of creation, destruction, and renewal. By the time he reached his 7th decade, Pakal had achieved what few kings could: stability without stagnation. Palenque's political position had been secured through careful alliances, strategic marriages, and the projection of both cultural and ritual authority. His sons were grown and prepared to continue the dynasty. His palace complex and temples reflected decades of artistic and architectural mastery, and his inscriptions chronicled a life meticulously devoted to divine and temporal balance. Yet even as he aged, Pakal did not retreat from his role as both ruler and sacred intermediary. Daily rituals, celestial observations, and public ceremonies continued to affirm his authority, demonstrating that kingship, in Maya thought, was as much an ongoing performance as it was a matter of governance. It was during these later years that the Temple of the Inscriptions, Pakal's most audacious and enduring project, neared completion. The temple's monumental stairway, 80 feet long, led upward from the plaza to the summit, where the ceremonial chamber stood as both sanctuary and statement. Beneath the temple, carefully hidden from view yet central to Pakal's vision, lay the crypt he had meticulously designed for himself. The chamber's walls, adorned with intricate inscriptions, recorded the lineage of Palenque's rulers and the divine journey of Pakal himself. Every carving, every glyph, was a deliberate act of narrative preservation, ensuring that the king's story would outlast his mortal body. Pakal's preparations for death were as elaborate as any of his architectural achievements. He understood that the transition from life to afterlife was a journey requiring both physical and spiritual readiness. His body was treated with sacred substances. Cinnabar, a vivid red mineral, covered his flesh, symbolizing life force and divine essence. Jade, pearl, and obsidian ornaments were carefully placed, culminating in the creation of a mosaic mask that would transform his aged visage into an eternally youthful representation of the maize god. This mask was not merely ceremonial. It was a declaration of continuity, linking the deceased king with the cycles of fertility, regeneration, and cosmic balance that defined Maya belief. The centerpiece of Pakal's burial was the sarcophagus, a massive carved limestone slab depicting his descent into the underworld, Xibalba. The carvings were dense with symbolism. The world tree, representing the axis between heaven, earth, and underworld. Celestial symbols marking the cycles of life and death. And Pakal himself, portrayed not as a fallen king, but as a participant in the eternal cosmic journey. While later interpretations, fueled by fantastical speculation, misread this imagery as a depiction of a rocket or extraterrestrial machinery, the truth was rooted firmly in Maya cosmology. The sarcophagus told a story of transition, transformation, and renewal. A narrative encoded in the sacred language of symbol, myth, and ritual. Even as he arranged the details of his own death, Pakal maintained his authority over the living city. Governance, diplomacy, and ritual continued under his watchful eye, reflecting the balance he had achieved between mortal responsibility and divine embodiment. This dual role, king and intermediary, was central to Maya kingship, and Pakal exemplified it with extraordinary consistency. His later years were marked by reflection as much as by action, as he ensured that both his family and his city were prepared to continue his vision. When Pakal passed in 683 CE, he had lived an extraordinary 80 years, a remarkable lifespan in a time when most rulers faced early death from war, disease, or political upheaval. His passing marked the end of an era, but the continuation of a story. His sons succeeded him, inheriting not just the throne, but the architectural, artistic, and spiritual foundations he had meticulously built over nearly 7 decades. Palenque was secure, vibrant, and poised to remain a center of Maya culture and authority for generations to come. Pakal's tomb, long hidden beneath the Temple of the Inscriptions, remained undisturbed for centuries. Encased beneath the monumental stone slab, his body lay in eternal repose, surrounded by objects of power and ritual significance. For nearly 1,300 years, the city above him witnessed the slow passage of time, the rise and fall of civilizations, and the encroachment of jungle upon stone. Yet Pakal's presence, both physical and symbolic, endured. The temple and its inscriptions preserved his narrative, and the tomb remained a silent testament to his foresight, devotion, and understanding of kingship as a fusion of human and divine authority. The rediscovery of Pakal's tomb in 1952 by archaeologist Alberto Ruz-Luillier brought the king back into human consciousness, revealing the extraordinary care and sophistication of his burial. The jade mask, the cinnabar-covered skeleton, and the intricately carved sarcophagus lid captured the imagination of scholars and the public alike, highlighting the complexity of Maya art, ritual, and belief. Modern scientific analysis confirmed his advanced age and revealed the effects of a soft, refined diet, explaining the relative preservation of his teeth despite decades of life. The tomb and the treasures within became one of the most significant archaeological finds in Mesoamerican history, allowing a glimpse into a life carefully orchestrated to transcend mortality. Pakal's later years, then, were defined not by the erosion of power, but by the consolidation of legacy. Every action, from monumental construction to ritual observance, was informed by the understanding that kingship was both temporal and eternal. His reign demonstrates how a ruler could shape not only the immediate political landscape, but also the memory of generations to come. By intertwining architecture, art, ritual, and narrative, Pakal transformed Palenque into a city that was itself a living story, a place where human ambition and divine order coalesced into permanence. Beneath the stepped terraces of the Temple of the Inscriptions, hidden from view and protected by centuries of earth and stone, lay the final resting place of Pakal the Great. The tomb, a carefully constructed crypt at the heart of his monumental temple, represented not merely a burial, but a cosmic stage, designed to guide the king on his journey into the underworld, Xibalba. For Pakal, death was never an end. It was the ultimate ritual, the culmination of a life spent maintaining harmony between the mortal world and the divine cosmos. Every element of his interment, from the placement of his body to the carvings on the sarcophagus lid, reflected the intricate beliefs of the Maya and the enduring authority of a ruler who had ruled longer than nearly anyone in human history. The sarcophagus itself was a masterpiece of both art and cosmology. Carved from a single massive limestone slab weighing approximately 20 tons, it depicted Pakal not as a lifeless corpse, but as an active participant in the journey of life, death, and rebirth. Central to the imagery was the world tree, its roots and branches connecting the three planes of existence: the underworld below, the terrestrial plane of humanity, and the heavens above. Pakal was shown descending along this axis, surrounded by glyphs, symbolic creatures, and celestial imagery. Every line, curve, and figure carried meaning. The king's life, his divine lineage, and his passage into the eternal cycle of the cosmos were all encoded in stone. In addition to the symbolic carvings, Pakal's body was prepared with meticulous care. He was coated in cinnabar, a bright red mineral that symbolized life, blood, and divine energy. This sacred substance gave his body a luminous appearance, transforming the mortal remains into a ritual object worthy of a king. Adorned with jade, pearl, and obsidian, and crowned with his famous mosaic death mask, Pakal was depicted as eternally youthful, embodying the regenerative powers of the maize god. The choice of jade, in particular, reflected both prestige and spiritual significance. It was considered a substance of immortality, linking the king to the cycles of growth, fertility, and cosmic renewal. The tomb also contained a carefully curated selection of ceremonial and symbolic objects. Ornaments, jewelry, and offerings surrounded the king, reinforcing the notion that even in death, the ruler maintained his connection to divine and earthly realms. The design of the crypt itself demonstrated extraordinary engineering knowledge. A sealed chamber accessed through a hidden stairway, insulated by thick limestone walls and the weight of the temple above. It preserved the body for centuries, a testament to Pakal's foresight and understanding of permanence. The rediscovery of Pakal's tomb in 1952 by Mexican archaeologist Alberto Ruz Luillier revealed the extraordinary sophistication of Maya funerary practices. Hidden beneath a massive carved slab that had remained undisturbed for over a millennium, the tomb emerged as one of the most significant archaeological finds in Mesoamerican history. The jade mask, now iconic, was immediately recognized as a symbol of ritual mastery and divine kingship. Scholars marveled at the precision of the sarcophagus carvings and the meticulous preservation of the king's remains. The discovery confirmed the scale of Pakal's vision and provided unparalleled insight into Maya conceptions of death, kingship, and cosmology. Yet the tomb also sparked popular fascination and controversy. The intricate imagery on the sarcophagus lid gave rise to the Palenque astronaut theory, a modern pseudoscientific interpretation suggesting that the carvings depicted Pakal operating a rocket or spacecraft. While visually striking, this theory ignores the sophisticated symbolic language of Maya cosmology. The imagery clearly depicts the king's descent into Xibalba, surrounded by the world tree, and celestial motifs representing life, death, and renewal. The myth of the ancient astronaut illustrates the disconnect between modern imagination and the deeply nuanced worldview of the Maya. Yet it also underscores the enduring fascination with Pakal's tomb and the stories embedded in its stone. Scientific analysis of Pakal's remains further illuminated the life of this extraordinary ruler. Initial examinations of his skeleton suggested he was much younger than recorded, perhaps in his 40s. Further studies revealed that his advanced age, he died at approximately 80, was consistent with historical inscriptions, and the discrepancy was likely due to the soft, refined diet of the elite, which minimized tooth wear. Pakal's stature, approximately 5 feet 8 inches, and his ritual adornments reflected the physical and symbolic embodiment of kingship. He was at once a human ruler and a divine figure, a man whose presence was meant to resonate with the cycles of life, the movements of the heavens, and the memory of his city. The tomb's rediscovery not only shed light on Pakal's life and death, but also transformed our understanding of Palenque and the broader Maya world. Scholars could now appreciate the integration of architecture, ritual, and narrative in Maya urban design. The Temple of the Inscriptions became a lens through which the interplay of politics, cosmology, and artistic achievement could be studied. Pakal's life, immortalized in stone and jade, offered a window into a civilization that fused human experience with divine symbolism, reminding the modern world of the complexity, depth, and sophistication of the ancient Maya. Even today, Pakal's tomb stands as a monument to foresight and legacy. The king who ascended the throne at 12, who ruled for 68 years, and who transformed a minor city into a regional powerhouse, achieved something more enduring than political dominion. He etched his life into the fabric of time itself. Every carved glyph, every stone slab, every ceremonial ornament was part of a carefully orchestrated story, one in which the king's passage into death became an affirmation of eternal kingship and cosmic order. Through the Temple of the Inscriptions and his crypt, Pakal the Great continues to speak across the centuries. He is remembered not merely as a ruler who lived an exceptionally long life, but as a visionary who understood the inseparability of life, death, memory, and monument. The discovery of his tomb confirmed the sophistication of Maya ritual, art, and architecture, while the enduring fascination with his sarcophagus illustrates the power of narrative, both ancient and modern. In life, Pakal ruled. In death, he became immortal. His story carved into the stone of a city that would long outlive him. With the passing of Pakal the Great in 683 CE, Palenque entered a new era, but the imprint of his life and reign remained indelible. The city he had transformed from a vulnerable outpost into a regional powerhouse did not merely survive his death. It thrived, sustained by the structures, rituals, and cultural foundations he had meticulously crafted over nearly 7 decades. The legacy of Pakal was both tangible and symbolic, manifest in stone and jade, in inscriptions and ceremonies, and in the ongoing vitality of a dynasty he had carefully nurtured. Central to the continuation of Pakal's vision was his family. He had been married to Lady Tsagbu Ajao, a union that consolidated political alliances and produced heirs to carry on the dynastic line. The succession of his sons ensured the stability of Palenque and maintained the continuity of his architectural, cultural, and ritual programs. Through these heirs, the king's influence extended beyond his own lifetime, providing a human conduit for the ideals and practices he had established. Even as new rulers ascended, they operated within a framework carefully designed by Pakal, a city governed by ritual order, monumental architecture, and cosmological symbolism. Pakal's influence extended far beyond his immediate family. The innovations he introduced in architecture, art, and ceremonial practice became templates for generations of Maya rulers. The Palace of Palenque, expanded and refined under his direction, set standards for urban design, blending functionality with ceremonial importance. His temples and inscriptions demonstrated how urban space could convey narrative and ideology, teaching successive generations that cities were more than collections of buildings. They were living texts, expressing divine order, political authority, and historical memory. The Temple of the Inscriptions, Pakal's funerary monument, became the centerpiece of this enduring influence. It stood not only as a tomb, but as a symbol of what a ruler could achieve through vision and dedication. Its hieroglyphic panels preserved the story of Pakal's reign, documenting his ancestry, his accomplishments, and his divine mandate. Future rulers could reference these inscriptions, drawing legitimacy from the example of Pakal's governance. In this way, the temple functioned as both memorial and model, a perpetual lesson in kingship, ritual, and the interweaving of human and cosmic order. Pakal's reign also transformed the cultural identity of Palenque. Under his guidance, art reached unprecedented sophistication. Sculptors mastered depth, detail, and narrative in their carvings, depicting gods, ancestors, and the king himself with a clarity that communicated both power and spirituality. These works were not decorative alone. They carried profound meaning, encoding the beliefs, history, and cosmology of the city in visual form. The legacy of this artistic flowering persisted long after Pakal's death, influencing neighboring city-states and leaving a lasting imprint on the aesthetics of classic Maya civilization. The political stability Pakal established was equally significant. While many Maya cities were embroiled in conflict, Palenque maintained a position of relative security, using alliances, marriage, and ritual diplomacy to navigate regional tensions. Pakal's long reign allowed him to cultivate relationships, secure borders, and project authority without over-reliance on military conquest. This balance of power, ritual, and diplomacy became a hallmark of his legacy, demonstrating that endurance in rulership depended not only on force but on strategy, foresight, and the cultivation of symbolic authority. Beyond the city walls, Pakal's life and reign became woven into the mythology and historical memory of the Maya world. His ascent to the throne at 12, his decades-long consolidation of power, and his visionary building programs became legendary. In life, he was a living conduit between gods and humans. In death, he was a timeless symbol of divine kingship. The rediscovery of his tomb in the 20th century reignited fascination with his story, revealing the meticulous planning that had gone into every aspect of his burial and confirming the accuracy of ancient inscriptions that recorded his age, achievements, and cosmic significance. Pakal's sarcophagus lid, with its intricate carvings depicting his descent into Xibalba and the world tree connecting the three realms, became one of the most studied and admired artifacts of Mesoamerican art. The misinterpretations of its imagery in modern pseudoscientific theories only highlight the enduring mystery and allure of the king's story, underscoring the depth and sophistication of Maya symbolic language. In reality, the lid exemplifies the integration of art, cosmology, and kingship that characterize Pakal's life and continues to inform our understanding of Maya culture. The cultural, architectural, and political legacy of Pakal the Great endured for centuries. Palenque remained a vibrant city well beyond his death. Its monuments and inscriptions a testament to his vision. Generations of rulers drew inspiration from his example, understanding that the power of a king lay as much in the ability to shape memory, narrative, and ritual as in the capacity to wield armies. In the wider Maya world, Pakal's reign demonstrated that careful planning, symbolic authority, and the integration of art, architecture, and religion could produce a civilization that endured both in material and memory. Even today, the influence of Pakal is visible in every carved stone, every architectural alignment, and every surviving inscription from Palenque. Archaeologists, historians, and enthusiasts continue to study his life and tomb, revealing new insights into the sophistication of Maya society, the complexity of ritual kingship, and the extraordinary foresight of a ruler who understood the power of permanence. His story bridges the millennia, connecting modern observers with a civilization that thrived through intellect, artistry, and devotion to cosmic order. Pakal the Great, who ascended the throne as a boy, navigated the perils of youth, consolidated power through vision and diplomacy, and guided Palenque to cultural and political prominence, remains an enduring figure in history. His life illustrates the remarkable possibilities of leadership when intellect, artistry, and faith converge, and his legacy endures in the stones of Palenque, the inscriptions of his reign, and the fascination of every generation that has encountered his story. Pakal the Great's life was extraordinary not merely because of its length, 68 years of unbroken reign, but because of its depth, vision, and enduring impact. From the precarious ascension of a 12-year-old boy to the commanding authority of an aged king, Pakal navigated the intricate currents of Maya politics, ritual, and culture with foresight and skill unmatched in his time. His reign transformed Palenque from a modest city-state into a beacon of architectural, artistic, and spiritual achievement, establishing standards that would influence generations of Maya rulers and scholars alike. At the heart of Pakal's legacy was his understanding of permanence. He knew that life itself was fleeting, yet human memory could be sculpted, encoded, and preserved through architecture, art, and ritual. Every temple, every palace expansion, and every carved inscription in Palenque was part of a larger narrative, a story in which the king embodied cosmic balance and the city reflected divine favor. The Temple of the Inscriptions, his monumental funerary project, was the pinnacle of this vision. Rising above the city like a sacred mountain, it housed a tomb that was at once physical, symbolic, and eternal. Within its chambers, Pakal's body, adorned with jade and cinnabar, rested beneath the carved sarcophagus that narrated his journey into the underworld. Even death could not diminish his presence. In stone, ritual, and memory, he endured. Pakal's life also illuminates the intricate interplay between human agency and divine belief in the Maya worldview. kingship was never simply about political control. It was a sacred responsibility, an embodiment of cosmic order. Pakal's daily rituals, bloodletting ceremonies, and observance of celestial events reinforced his role as mediator between the gods and his people. His strategic alliances and architectural achievements reinforced his temporal authority, but his greatest power lay in the symbolic and spiritual messages he embedded in the city itself. In this sense, Pakal was not just a ruler of Palenque, he was its axis, its narrative, and its eternal memory. The rediscovery of his tomb in 1952 by Alberto Ruiz-Luille offered modern scholars a window into the sophistication of Maya ritual, architecture, and cosmology. The Jade mask, the cinnabar-covered remains, and the intricately carved sarcophagus lid confirmed the meticulous planning with which Pakal had approached death, echoing the care he had invested in life. Beyond archaeology, the discovery sparked widespread fascination, inspiring myths, reinterpretations, and sometimes fanciful speculations, such as the Palenque astronaut theory. Yet beneath the sensationalism lay a profound truth. Pakal's life and tomb exemplify the extraordinary complexity and sophistication of classic Maya culture. The artistic and architectural achievements of his reign continue to inspire. Sculptors and architects under Pakal set standards for depth, detail, and narrative clarity that reverberated throughout the region. The palace complex, temples, and ceremonial plazas he oversaw were not only functional or aesthetic, they were narrative instruments, telling stories of lineage, cosmology, and divine authority. Through these works, Pakal taught that human creativity and vision could transcend mortality, transforming stone and space into instruments of memory and meaning. Equally significant was Pakal's political legacy. His careful diplomacy, strategic marriages, and skillful navigation of regional power dynamics ensured the stability of Palenque throughout his life and secured the future of his dynasty. Unlike many rulers whose power ended with their deaths, Pakal established structures, both physical and social, that would endure, allowing his city to thrive for decades after he passed. His example demonstrated that true authority is measured not merely by conquest, but by the creation of enduring order, cultural refinement, and spiritual resonance. Pakal's enduring influence is evident not only in the stones of Palenque, but in the modern fascination with his story. His life exemplifies the potential of leadership that harmonizes intellect, creativity, and spiritual insight. He shows that a ruler can shape not only the present, but the memory of the future, crafting a legacy that continues to inspire awe, curiosity, and respect over a millennium later. The king who ascended the throne at 12, who ruled for nearly 7 decades, who commissioned temples, palaces, and inscriptions, and who orchestrated his own passage into eternity, remains a figure of timeless fascination. Pakal the Great reminds us that history is more than dates and names. It is narrative, vision, and the careful weaving of human action into the enduring fabric of memory. In life, he shaped Palenque. In death, he became its axis, its story, and its immortal presence. In the dense jungles of Chiapas, the temple of the inscriptions still rises, a silent yet eloquent testament to a ruler who understood the power of stone, story, and belief. Within its heart lies the tomb of Pakal, whose life, death, and vision continue to speak across the centuries. Through architecture, art, ritual, and legacy, he achieved what few leaders in history have. Immortality not through myth alone, but through the deliberate, enduring orchestration of memory and meaning. Pakal the Great, the boy king who became a monumental figure in Maya history, remains forever present in the stones of Palenque. His life reminds the modern world that true power lies not only in domination, but in creation, not only in survival, but in vision, and not only in mortality, but in the ability to shape eternity itself. In every carved glyph, every temple staircase, and every ceremonial plaza, the story of Pakal endures, an eternal testament to a king who transcended time, leaving behind a city that is at once a monument, a narrative, and a living memory of one of the most remarkable rulers the ancient world has ever known. Pakal the Great was more than a king. He was a storyteller, an architect of memory, and a ruler who understood that life and legacy were inseparable. From a boy king of 12 to the mastermind behind Palenque's most iconic temples, his story reminds us that history is not just made by battles or dates, but by vision, devotion, and the monuments we leave behind. If you enjoyed uncovering the secrets of Pakal's tomb and the wonders of Palenque, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next journey into the mysteries of the ancient world. And tell us in the comments, if you could visit one Maya site, which would it be?